I think what prompted him to call me, this is a former coworker that I haven't seen for years. And I actually, every day I drive past this office, I want to stop by and, you know, take donuts or whatever and say hi to my former coworkers.
Yeah.
However, I had noticed over the last couple of weeks that it seemed to be vacant, the building.
Mhm.
So it was kind of cool. I just made a post on Facebook that was just not really, it was just me and a loan officer. I posted the picture, said something about whatever, and he instantly sent me a message on Facebook. He said, "Hey, Trina, I need you to give me a call. I need your help with something." So I called him and he said, "I need you to sell my house." So I was like, okay. So it was encouraging to me that just the little things you post are reminders to people of what you do. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so I'm going to go meet with him today and get the listing documents all signed and get that going.
Good for you. Yeah, that absolutely works. If you continuously post, it may not, it's like Eric Thomas was just saying in the video, it's not about the one hit or the one post. You know, in order for you to complete something great or take down a big old tree like he was explaining, you got to keep hitting the same spot over and over again. And so for us, that would come in the form of posting and making videos or shooting content, whatever it is that, or making the calls or hitting the neighborhoods and knocking on the doors. So all of that stuff does work, but it doesn't work with just one try. You know, you have to keep going at it. So congratulations, Trina. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that story. Very, very good. Anyone new? Anyone want to share? Anybody who usually doesn't talk? If you guys, I know you've been a little shy sometimes. Maybe you want to just break out and just give us a little something that you guys did last week.
I have a friend that's looking for a church in Central New Jersey. So if anybody knows of any churches, they can contact me.
Nice. Alejandro's the church man. You got any churches for her, Alejandro?
How about you? Yes.
Good. Yeah, get in touch with her after the call.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem, Tanya. Thank you. All right. So guys, today I want to make this this meeting today more about you. I want you guys to really open up today and give me some life experiences. I want you guys to really dig deep, because the deeper we're going to dig into our past and what we've done up until today, and if we could be very honest with ourselves, the better we're going to do going forward, the more clarity we're going to have. So give me 1 second. I got my girls here today and I got the door open. They're a little bit loud. Give me 1 second. You know what? What church? What are you talking about? We'll talk about it later. My daughter wants to have her input on the meeting. Maybe you could talk later, okay? At the end. All right, thank you. All right, so what I want to talk to you guys today about is what is the most difficult thing you've ever done in your life? Right? I want everyone to think about this for themselves. What is the most difficult thing you've ever done in your life? I'm sure it's pretty crazy. It's probably pretty intense. And some of you probably haven't thought about that in a long time. You probably have not reminded yourself that you are capable of either accomplishing that or overcoming that or bearing the weight of that. You know, for some of us, we would probably think sometimes like, wow, you know, my life's pretty tough. But would you ever want to switch your experiences with someone else? Because maybe someone else has gone through something you could never probably go through, and vice versa. So think about that for a minute. What is it that you've gone through or accomplished and really overcame throughout your existence here in this world, right? And then ask yourself, what have you accomplished recently that you're proud of? Because sometimes we forget how great we are and what we can really accomplish if we really put our mind to it. And when we stick to it, what great things we can do. And some people, sometimes they don't even realize how great the things are. Sometimes just raising a child, you know, by yourself, that's an amazing thing. You know, we don't think about these things. And then the problem with that is that we know we're capable of so much, but we don't challenge ourselves every day. So think about that for a second, because we all fall victim to it. I do as well. We're capable of so much, but we don't challenge ourselves anymore. So for instance, I'll give you a great example for myself. It's probably a very superficial one. I'm sure there's probably deeper ones, but it's the one that's coming to my mind right now. Starting a business is never easy. It's very difficult, right? And starting a real estate brokerage is probably one of the hardest things you can do, because just the pure nature of the business, the attrition rate of real estate agents, and the coming and going of agents, even when they do stay in the business, it's very difficult. And it's never guaranteed. You don't know, you're gonna have a good day, you're gonna have a bad day, you're gonna have a bad month, a good month. It's really, the market is so also very critical on what's going on in the economy. So very risky business. Not only that, but real estate is not even treated, it's not even treated like a real business. The reason I tell you that is because a real estate business is hard for you to walk into a bank and say, hey, I want a loan against my business. I want a loan to open up a real estate company. They don't give you that, because they say they really literally say to you, if you ever try doing this, you're not a real business. You don't have receivables, you don't have collectibles, and your listings, and none of that matters. They don't look at it as a real business. So if you ever go and open a real estate company, it's with every spare cent you have. Right. So the reason I'm telling you this is because I feel like one of the biggest accomplishments that I ever did myself, which is I feel like it speaks volumes, because it's so hard to do. When I did open up Culture Estate for the first time, I had Joelle, who's here with me. She helped me a lot, tremendously. It wasn't a one-man show, but I'll tell you this much: I didn't know if I had the money to do it. I really didn't know. I prayed, and I just hoped that it was going to work out. I just hope for the best. And sometimes when we overthink things and we don't take chances in our life, and we don't really go after our dreams, we never accomplish them. But I wasn't, well, maybe I should say I was fortunate. I was fortunate enough that my previous circumstances at my previous brokerages where I was a partner didn't work out. And I was kind of forced to make that move, make that transition. So even though I was scared to death, like literally scared to death, when I first got into the position of having a broker's license, I didn't run out and open a brokerage the very next day, right? I didn't say, oh, I got my broker's license, I'm gonna go open up a brokerage, right? Like that's what most people think. But it's the scariest thing, because I kept hearing everyone say running a brokerage is very hard. You can't do it by yourself. There's so much cost associated to it. And throughout my real estate career, I was just, when you get complacent and comfortable, I was making good money. I was having a good lifestyle, but I was never pushing myself to that next level because of fear. So throughout circumstances, I was forced to kind of not just figure it out, but I was forced to say enough is enough. I went through brokerages. I went through 2 brokerages where I was a partner, and none of those partnerships worked out. So, and I had people who were believing in me. I had people who would follow me, and they would come to me for guidance and for inspiration, or even just for someone to listen to them, right? And I had these people, maybe not a lot, maybe I had like a good maybe 3, 4, 5 people who believed in me enough to go anywhere where I would land. So those people were really the ones that motivated me enough to say, enough is enough. I can't keep putting my people and myself and my family in a position where I don't know if I'll have a steady place to work anymore. So I took the last, I think it was about $20,000. I took the last $20,000 I had. And the reason why I was so scarce on money at the time is because I was building a house at the same time from scratch, pretty much remodeling the whole thing. So every check I would get, it would go directly to the house. It was my dream house, but I never expected to have to open up a real estate brokerage at the same time. So great things happen to you when you least expect them. Your blessings come to you when you're not ready for them. So I could have taken this as a defeat and said, you know what, I give up. I'm going to go work at another real estate company. I don't even want to be a broker, a partner, nothing. I'll just go be an agent, right? And I can figure things out because I can sell just enough to get by, and whatever. If people, they follow me, they don't like my move, they'll figure things out on their own. They're grown-ups. But I did it. What I did was I saw that this was the opportunity for me to really shine as a leader. And I saw, when I spoke to Joelle about it, I was like, we're getting kicked out. I saw the look on her face, because she kind of just, didn't even think twice when I asked her to come work with me. She showed a lot of loyalty, and she came to work with me, and she just never thought twice. And I said, I have this young lady's future in my hands. I have a handful of other people who consistently just seek to me for advice. And if I were to just disappear, you know, they would probably be lost. So I said, I gotta stand up and I gotta do what's right. So I said, it's never the right time. Let's just do it, you know. And I said to her, we're gonna go look at office locations today. You know, we're just gonna go. We're gonna do this. So we found a couple of places. The same day that we went out looking, we found one place. And from the moment I walked in there, I said, this is the place. I knew it, like from the gut of your stomach. You know, when you walk into a house sometimes, guys, or you walk into maybe a showroom when you buy a car or something, or maybe when you walk into a pet store and you see that dog, you know that's yours. Well, I felt that. I knew that that was ours. That was ours. That location was for us. And then we looked at a couple other places, and then we just kept circling back. I was like, nope, that place we looked at before, even though it was so ugly. I'm telling you guys, if you've ever seen ugly, this was it. It was ugly and embodied in an office. I think the carpets were green and the walls were red, or the walls were, or the carpet was red and the walls were green, something like that. But it looked like the 1970s Christmas party throughout the entire office. So we knew we had our work cut out for us, but I knew that it was going to be special, and it was going to be for us. So what I did was I completely walked in faith, and I said to Joali, here, take the 20 grand that I got from my buyout from the previous office I was, and just get things going. You know, just let agents come in here and work under the radar for now until we get our licensing up and everything falls into place. And in the meantime, I got deals closing so we can survive off of some of those. And I'm going to go visit my parents in Guatemala for over a month. I think it was like 5 weeks. And the reason was like, I wasn't like planning a vacation just to go celebrate the fact that I opened an office. This vacation was already planned ahead of time because I wanted to go see my parents. It had been like probably over a year since I had seen them. They had retired to Guatemala, and I said, you know, it was about time I go see them. So I said, you know what, timing, God's timing's perfect always, right? Why should I doubt that? So what I said is, I'm going to go there because I know that for the next few years, I'm going to be literally nonstop. And I know nothing about running a business, nothing. Like I've run my business as a barbershop, but that's nothing like what was ahead of me. So I went there and I literally read 5 business books while I was there, just trying to become a better leader, just to learn my craft, because I was in for, you know, I was going to be the guy in the hot seat. I never wanted to be that guy. I always wanted to be the one in the background, just kind of helping and just supporting people. But I never wanted to be the face guy. But now I said, well, I have to be the face guy. So if I'm going to have to be the face guy, I got to learn what a face guy knows. So I think that those 5 weeks where I recharged my battery, kind of recentered everything I wanted to do, wrote every day. I wrote in my journal every day what I wanted to culture to look like. And I read those 5 books, you know, those amazing 5 books. If anyone cares, I'll message you guys those later. So I came back completely I was fired up. I had every idea in the world. I had so many ideas, and everything I wanted to do, I was going to accomplish. And one of those ideas, guys, check this out. One of those ideas was this. I had been telling my partners that it would be a good idea for us to do more video and for us to talk on social media about how we do business and how we educate our agents. You know, we would have those weekly meetings or monthly meetings, and, you know, they were so sporadic. People rarely came. And sometimes when they did come, they'd be on their phone. No one really cared. So it was never really like interactive. So I said, number one, we're going to do a meeting every week. We're going to call it our mastermind, and we're going to make it very interactive. And number two, we're going to record it, and we're going to put it out on social media so other people can see it. No one is doing that. Nobody was doing that at all. Not the big agencies, not the little agencies. Nobody was doing that. So the reason why I wanted to do that is because I had been a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, and Gary Vaynerchuk kept saying, if you want to grow your business, you have to be on video, right? You have to be always preaching your message, but you also have to give. You have to give the information and you feel uncomfortable talking about. If it makes you uncomfortable to give away these secrets, then that's what you should be talking about, because people know when you're giving them something of value. And the more you give, the more you'll receive. So I took those principles and I started to implement them in our trainings and our masterminds. And quickly, we grew that brokerage. And Jorlie's on the call, and I think Nicole is on here too. Alejandro's here too. You know, a few people who were there with me from that very start. And I'll tell you, it was unprecedented. I've never seen such a thing. Within a year or two, I think it was like a year and a half, we became the largest brokerage by agent count in Scotch Plains. And then we did some more metrics, and then we realized that we're the largest independently owned brokerage in Union County. And it was going bananas, and it was all because of how much we gave. But the reason I'm telling you this is not because I want to teach you guys how to open a brokerage. Is the reason I'm telling you this is because that was probably one of the most difficult things that I was ever a part of, and that was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And I would have never done it if I wasn't put in that hot seat. But the question is, Lewis, what have you done recently to put yourself in that same position? Have I challenged myself? And the answer is, to a degree, somewhat, but no, nothing like that. I haven't experienced anything like that in a long time. So with that being said, I got work to do. What's my next culture? What is my next thing that's going to change people's lives? Because through Culture Estate, I think I helped a lot of people. We helped so many people. Jolie will tell you, we not only helped our agents, but there were several occasions where we raised money for charity. We gave money from our proceeds to an organization called Our Rescue that rescues children that are enslaved. There's so many good things that came out of it. So many good things. I became a different person. Joelle grew as a leader. Alejandro went from being a cell phone salesman to being an accomplished investor. Nicola, she'll tell you all the things that she learned from being there. It was life-changing for all of us. You know, there were several times when people said, this doesn't feel like a real estate office. This feels like what did they call it? Like ground zero for like masterminding, for like getting good ideas. Just like so many good things launched from it. So it was, to be honest with you, I'm a little intimidated because it was so beautiful. It was such a great thing that I accomplished. That, like, what's my next accomplishment? You know, I've been working on different things, but I feel like I want to have that impact. So I've got work to do, you know, and I'm going to sit here and tell you guys, oh, here's my culture 2.0, you know, like it's still not there. It still hasn't been created. Maybe this whole move to Florida for myself is part of it. Maybe this merger with EXP is part of it. You know, maybe media is part of it. I don't know. You know, I'll figure it out. But the thing is that I haven't put myself in that position. So the reason I'm telling you guys this story is because I want to know, what have you guys done in your life that has been very difficult? And don't compare your story to mine. It doesn't have to be something where you grew up a business. That's just mine. That's just one of my stories. But what has been something in your life that you've overcome or accomplished that's been phenomenal? Like, if no one's going to speak, I know there's a few people on here who have those stories, and if you don't share them, you're being very how would I say, you're being I don't know, greedy is the right word. I don't think greedy. I think you're being selfish. Selfish is the right word. You're being selfish. Share that story with us. Tell us what you've accomplished. Inspire the people on this call. You know, I'll just open up and I'll let you guys see who's brave enough to tell your story.
I'd like to share my story.
Go for it, Alejandro.
The first house I bought in Somerset, I bought it from in the sheriff's sale.
Okay.
And I think I bought it for $150, and I put $30,000. I left the deposit. I didn't have any money to close, and I was in debt, like $35,000 in credit cards. But I said, well, I'm buying this for investor. I want to buy this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very comfortable position. Like, I was trying to resell it. It took like 60 days. And I was scared because I didn't know how I was going to close. I didn't know anything. I just jumped off faith. But I ended up, I was getting low ball offer. Like, I thought I was going to lose money mm-hmm. on the house, but I ended up getting 2 offers, and I make money and move on to the next one.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more detail. Tell us, you know, what was going through your mind when you first thought about, hey, maybe I'll buy a property as a flip, because you were around other people who were doing it every day, right? I think that probably made it a little easier. So that's a lesson that you can tell us. You know, being around the right circle will encourage you to do things that maybe you feel uncomfortable out of your reach.
Yes. So everybody was doing flips and wholesales and Culture Estate, and I was like, well, I want to get there. You know, I don't want to buy this for a client my whole life. I want to buy this for myself. But it's more, it's easier said than done. When I bought it, was like I couldn't sleep for the whole month. I was like, I thought I was going to lose money, and I was going to lose my deposit, because if you don't close in 30 days, then the sheriff calling Somerset County was like, well, if you don't close in 30 days, then you're going to lose your money. But
you figured it
I
out,
feel
right?
like, yeah, I feel like that put me in a different position to not be scared of things. Sometimes you just gotta, like, that's what you want. You figure it out along the way. There is a risk, of course. Everything has a risk. Just waking up is a risk. So that's a risk, and you gotta get ourselves uncomfortable. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was a great feeling, though.
Where do you think your life would be right now if you never took that initial risk? Do you think that, you'd still just be selling and buying homes for other people?
Probably yes. I would be doing like paycheck to paycheck. Yeah.
Yeah, very good, man. So now the second part of that question, Alejandro, is what have you done recently to put yourself in that same position? What is the new thing that's going to keep you up for a month?
So I recently rehabbed two houses, two family, and I got deep on debt, like super deep on credit cards, and I mean, whoever done it knows how it is. You always get deep in debt. So I'm trying to dig myself out of it right now, and the closing the deals just keep like coming back on the market or whatever, and it's a very stressful situation because you don't know when it's gonna be a next paycheck, right? So I recently had a job for a client doing a bathroom. Never done any construction for anybody, just for myself on my houses. And I said, well, maybe this can get me some money in the meantime, right? Well, I can get a closing or trying to pay my credit cards down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took the job, and it was fine. But maybe I'd go for get a construction company. So the whole point is, when I put myself in a very uncomfortable position, like the desperation that you get, you find a way somehow.
You find a way. Yeah, those are the words I'm looking for.
Somehow you find a way. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You find a way. And Alejandro, so what people don't realize about being a real estate investor, maybe this is going to hit home with some people. Part of being a real estate investor is going into debt, racking up your credit cards, not, the deals coming back on the market, not closing when they're supposed to, just keep making payments on hard money loans, even when you don't know where you're going to get them from. And it's uncomfortable, right? But sooner or later you get to the point where, okay, well, I've made so much money now with flipping properties that maybe I don't have to flip properties anymore. Maybe I can just become a landlord, right? And then you can just refinance instead of selling, or maybe you can start buying cash, right? But in order to get to those levels, you got to go through the phases that you go through right now, right? Is that part of it?
Yes, that's part of the package. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. Definitely.
Yeah, I hear so many people online and on commercials saying, you could get rich so quick and I'll do this with real estate, and nothing could be further from the truth. I remember there were times when I had properties that had so much equity in them, and I was rehabbing them. But meanwhile, I didn't know where the hell I was going to get any money that month to make the payments. Like, and Joelle will tell you, she's like, I don't know what deal you made with God. She's like, but every month you always somehow figure it out. It always somehow works out. And I'd rather take that risk than not take any risk at all, because I think that's the biggest risk, is not taking any risk. Because how else are you supposed to grow your wealth? How else are you supposed to leave a legacy? By just being complacent and comfortable? Last time I checked, being comfortable never got anybody anywhere. There's no books written about comfortable people. I don't think I've ever read one. So yeah, Alejandro, that's amazing, man. So what's on your horizon? What is a big goal you have for yourself that makes you uncomfortable? That makes you really nervous that you're putting off?
Well, the second phase of my I was really scared of like fixing a house because you know you always heard the story of the bad contractor stealing your money or never finishing or whatever. It happens to me, yes, at the beginning.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna happen to everybody.
bad
It's gonna
contractor.
happen to
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah. So, and then I become my own contractor. That was my solution.
Good.
My solution is I am my own contractor. I got my guys, and I can manage the whole thing more like closely.
Yeah.
The next step for myself, to be honest, I just want time. So trying to get a couple rentals and just focus on myself. That's all. There's no point to get that. It's never going to be enough anyway.
Yeah.
So I just want to focus on myself and be grateful for what I have right now.
It's awesome, man. Congratulations, guys. I just put into the link for the chat a library of books that I've read that I feel have completely changed me as a business person. So if you guys are interested in that, I have them up on our website. So I just gave you guys the link of all of them. That's great. Anyone else want to share a story similar to Alejandro's or mine? Does anyone have anything they want to just contribute to this? Because this could be very powerful, guys. This could be an opportunity for you to grow as an individual right now. Maybe you're scared to vocalize what you want. And the more we do it, the more it becomes real.
Alejandro, I just wanted to give a shout out to you. It's probably been a month when you sent out a challenge to say, hey, let's do more videos. Who's with me? We'll do, I don't know what you said, 3 a day, 3 a week.
Yeah, 3 a week.
That landed on me in such a way because I heard it differently from my perspective, thinking like, dude, I'm trying to do one long video a week to post on YouTube. That's what I heard. And then I just want you to know that challenged me. I still remember that. And I have started doing shorts because I didn't even know what a short was the day I heard you talking about videos. And but I learned something since from that day till this. So I'm with you. I'm trying to do at least 3 shorts and 1 long every single week. And Lewis has been a great inspiration. Last Friday, I received actually it was Thursday, I received an email from a guy that Lewis sent me to, found him on YouTube from New Jersey. He's moved down here. I closed a house with him and he sent me an email on Thursday. He said, Brent, this is why I love watching Lewis Leva. And Lewis told his story about this, about his life, basically. And Lewis, that inspired me. So I took the potato idea that you mentioned last week, and I sat down last Friday morning, wrote a script, put it on film. I'm sending it off to my editor, but it's that type of stuff. When you talk about mastermind, I'm going to entitle it "The Dirty Jobs That Made Me." At age 65, looking back, I'm gonna post that. So just a little hook, guys. When you see it, you'll know where it came from, but it came from you.
It's awesome.
Lewis and all the others. I listened in, and I'm probably the oldest one on the YouTube. But I tell you, an old dog can learn new tricks, and I just want to thank you for the input.
Yeah, well, since we have you on a hot seat right now, Brent, would you mind telling us one of the hardest things you've been able to overcome? And you've got so many things that I know you could probably pick from. You probably have dozens of instances, such as becoming a pastor or relocating your entire family to Africa, or having to become the caretaker of your spouse. So many things that you've overcome. Can you share any of those that you think would really stick out in your mind that kept you up at night? Like
so interesting. You would think we would have talked before, because that's exactly what my video is about. I told some of those things that you just mentioned, but I'll name a few.
Yeah.
The day the doctor said, Susan, this is your disease, it's yours for life, it's progressive, we have nothing to slow it down or stop it. That was 18 years ago. And that was one of the hardest days of my life. Sending my kids to boarding school in another country while I was a missionary to Burkina Faso. And 8 months of the year they were away. That was really hard.
Oh yeah.
And then, sorry.
I'll take your time, brother. Yeah, this is great stuff. Like I said, you guys are gonna be inspired from the stories that we have within our group that sometimes we don't share. And it just gives us the opportunity to really put into perspective the things that we obsess about or sweat. We don't want to create that video because we're worried that, people might judge us. And then when we hear stories such as Brent's, who's overcome such hurdles, we kind of think to ourselves how silly we are for thinking that, we can't make a video or we can't take a little risk in our life by, making a move somewhere or taking an extra phone call. It's silly.
I got something to say if anyone. Oh, go ahead, ma'am.
I'm sorry, who?
It's me, Jeanette.
No, I know it was Jeanette, but I thought you said someone else was talking. I don't.
Yes, I just saw Tanya pop up. I
Oh.
thought she was going to say something as well.
I'll go for you.
Well, about the videos, I've been thinking about, I want to set up something really cool because I live in West Orange and I love my neighborhood.
Mhm.
I truly love it. I love the schools. I love the area. I would like to get some ideas from my fellow colleagues. I want to come up with something that says, I'm selling West Orange.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the schools, the neighborhoods, how close we are to Montclair, how much we can benefit from that without the price tag of Montclair. Also, how to, just all the information that I have of West Orange, I want to put it out in a short video, but I've never done a video and I don't want to mess it up or say something, mention too much of Montclair, but West Orange is such a nice neighborhood that I would like to really speak about it and even create a small video of the area. You could live in by Eagle Rock, you have the Highland Pavilion close by, you have the churches close by, you have the city hall, everything is right there for you. So if anybody has a tip on how I can even start it, because I'm a hot mess. I just want to come up with a nice video about selling West Orange.
Yeah. Okay.
So if anybody has any tips for me, let me know, please. Thank you.
Sure. What I would suggest that you look at is first of all, you need 100 ideas before you start doing this, because you're not going to take over West Orange with one video. It's just not going to happen. So you need 100 topics. And how do you gather 100 topics? Well, it's maybe the first 5 to 10 you can probably think of off the top of your head. But the other 90 or so, you're probably going to have to start doing some research. Jump into the town groups for West Orange and Facebook. There's moms groups, there's local groups, school groups. There's so many groups, and just see what people are mad about. See what people are passionate about. What topics they're consistently bringing up. And make videos around that stuff, because sooner or later you're going to run out of school videos. There's only so many school videos you can do, but there's
the programs and everything that they have to offer and stuff like that, and how the houses are selling on the market around here. And I just wanted to a few tips,
Yeah, but turn everything into a story. Everything has
Louis,
to be a story. Go for it.
Louis, can I comment?
Please do.
Okay, you can try 3 ways also, not just the videos. You can sponsor.
Yeah.
Maybe something for the kids to be more involved, for the people to see you, and also mailers. And you can door knock if you are into that.
Yeah.
Just kind of hit them from different directions.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much.
You know what I think you're going to find is the information that Sarah's giving you, information I'm giving you, even the information that Eric Thomas said in the video before you jumped on the call, where he said, you got to hit a redwood 1,000 times in the same spot before you make it fall. And what she's telling you, what I'm telling you, what you're going to hear from other people, all these things are exactly what you need to do. So the only way you're going to do that is you literally have to obsess about what you want. If you don't wake up every day thinking about it and go to sleep every night thinking about it, you're probably not going to make it as big of an impact as someone else. So if that's what you really want, you want to take over West Orange, you literally have to get obsessed about it. You really have to make it your life's goal for the next 60 days, 6 months, however long it's going to take you to make an impact. And just keep going at it. Ask everyone else for opinions. Everyone you talk to, ask them, hey, what do you think is going on in West Orange that people need to know about? And yeah, just go at it. Great advice too, Sarah.
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, Brent, that's amazing story, man. Brent, if you guys have never heard of Brent's stories, man, Brent, he was my pastor in New Jersey, and I loved listening to him speak. And when I first got the opportunity to tell him that, I said, listen, I'm a big fan of speakers because I'm a speaker myself. I go to Toastmasters, and you got a gift. I said, yeah, I really admire the way you speak. And I learned so much from him as he would tell his stories up on stage. And a lot of you guys don't even realize that you got such a resource right here with Brent. Not only is he a great accomplished speaker, he's been through so much. He's a very inspirational person. He's a man of God. So if anyone ever needs someone to reach out to for anything real estate related or not real estate related, he's got so many things that'll inspire you for sure.
Yes. Louis, are
Yeah,
you still
go for it.
working on that coaching course?
The real estate course?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like you saw in that one video that we just did the other day, we're finishing up our studio soon. So
I can't wait.
yeah, I know. So my curriculum is already created. I just need to record the videos, which is probably won't take me more than about a week or two once the studio's done. So yeah, I look forward to putting that out, and that's going to come obviously along with a monthly group class that'll allow us to talk more directly just about investing and things like that.
Is this course only for realtors or is it open for everyone?
It's going to be for anyone who has an interest in learning about real estate and how they can get involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not for real estate, like becoming a realtor. It's for investing, for real estate investing.
Yep.
Good.
Got a story.
Go for it, please, Belinda.
When you asked the question to dig deep, I dug deep. When I was 9, my parents split up, and I am a daddy's girl. And we left New York and moved to Newark, New Jersey on Chancellor Avenue. All I know is that I wanted to see my dad. So at 9, I snuck out. I got on that 107 bus to New York, landed in Penn Station, took the number 2 train into the Bronx by myself to see my dad. I don't know what other 9-year-old kid travels state to state.
That's crazy.
But when I look back on the passion that I had then and my determination, it spiraled a lot of things for me going into adulthood. Fear kind of left me after that, because if you think about it, besides all the people that I had to pass and the lonely ride on the bus and on a train, what kind of trouble I was going to get into from both parents never crossed my mind until that time came. So that spiraled fast forward into high school. My brother Christopher got assaulted my senior year in Irvington. He got robbed and he was 12. And then my mother and my siblings moved to Pennsylvania, Allentown area. But I decided to stay because I wanted to work in corporate world. So at 18, I was on my own in East Orange, and I landed a job at Pansonic in Secaucus, and just graduated high school. That's when high schools were good because you did business in high school. They don't do that anymore today. But I landed in corporate America in less than a year. I was in corporate advertising, sitting 3 doors away from Hiro Matsushita, the president and CEO. And I faked it until someone picked me up and guided me along through corporate America for 10 years. And I have traveled the world with the company by myself. it's those kind of things when you think about where did your courage come from, even as a young kid, can help you into the adulthood to when you think back on what you did as a child, kind of makes not adulthood seem that that scary and things to move on. But that all spiraled from me going from Panasonic to Bristol Myers Squibb to iMany, and discovering that if I can help Fortune 50 companies advertise their product and their brand, then I could do it for myself. And that landed me here in Georgia when I cashed out everything from Jersey. And the next big move for me was coming to Georgia with no job, knowing that real estate was my passion.
There you go. What's on the horizon for you?
Being that I took a 10-year maternity leave from real estate,
Mhm.
came back in 2020, I started, so much has changed in 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I am still putting pieces back together, but I know that the super successful first 3 years that I had in real estate, oh, I can do that and double it.
You can.
So that is on my horizon, you know,
Beautiful.
being licensed in multiple states. And I just wrote down in my journal over the weekend as I was getting ready to get my loan officer license, because I'm upset with some people that we're using here. So I said, like Alejandro, I'm just going to become my own loan officer. So I was really getting ready to take that 20-hour class. And then I just stopped while I was writing. I said, Belinda, perfect your profession. And that's it.
It's beautiful.
Hello,
Hi.
Hey, pretty girl.
Louis. We got to meet your boss.
Hey,
Oh, she's my boss.
This
What's
is
your
your boss. Hey,
My name's Catalina and I'm 7 years old.
go ahead, breach.
Go. What are you, what has been the hardest thing you ever did?
Well, the hardest thing I ever did was probably cheer, because I had to stay up loud. I had to be loud. I tried hard.
Was it hot?
Yes, very old, melting to death. Probably in the sun.
Oh
Tell
my
me
God, I
about your
love her.
church.
I mean, I still got pictures of me cheering over there.
Yeah, we do.
Tell me
Yeah,
about
correct.
your church.
And what about your church? Do you remember? You remember Brent? The
Yeah.
church? What about your church?
My church is going great. The kids are listening. They're being fine. Everyone's being good.
Mhm.
Great.
What did you learn this weekend? When we read your book, your Bible book. What did you learn?
Well, I learned about the which one?
What did God create first?
The God created first the light.
The light. Beautiful. See, you're learning, Brent. She'll
That's
be,
good.
she'll be-
Great.
she'll be coming after you soon.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Does anyone else want to share before we got out? We got about 7 more minutes.
I'm trying to figure out how can I take a day off. I'm struggling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you know, that's called sacrifice. It's hard. And for you, you're balancing so much. You got a family, you know, you've got your professional career, and you got so much going on. So what does a day off look like for you? What do you have in mind?
Just not to answer my phone for a day, and I don't know, do things for me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the phone is I don't know. The phone is stuck to my hand. I need to get out of that habit.
Nothing's going to happen if you don't answer your phone for a day. It's anxiety. It's a lie we tell ourselves. But if you schedule that with the people who you're working with right now, who will probably need you the most, such as clients who are about to close or people that are most active, to say, hey, listen, on Sunday, I'm not going to be available, or on Tuesday, I'm not going to be available. I'm going to take a personal day. You know, just if you need anything, just email me and I'll get back to you the next day. I would do that. You need that mental reset, because if I didn't take those 5 weeks off, I would have never been able to accomplish half the things that we did. You need that day for yourself to go and just sharpen your brain and let your mind just unclog itself. You know, you need that.
Yeah, I think I'm always at fault for I bite more than I can chew.
Mhm.
I need to train myself to stop doing that.
I mean, it's not always a bad thing, right? Because you have no limitations. There isn't an amount that you can't chew. Who says that you should have an amount you can't chew? If you find yourself getting yourself in trouble, that's different. But you don't overpromise. That's one thing I always tell people: never overpromise. But if you feel like, you want to run a marathon, why not run a marathon? Push yourself. That's more than you've ever done before. But why wouldn't you be able to do it? So it depends on what you're chewing on. It depends. If you're overpromising, then that's different. If you're giving yourself high expectations, then that's good. I think that's good for everyone. I mean, who disagrees? Does anyone think it's not good to bite off more than you can chew?
No, and it's like a question that I asked everybody before: who's holding your measuring stick?
Yeah.
If you follow me on social media, you know that Saturday I was at Six Flags, and because I posted that with the family, I got a bunch of text messages that says, "I'll contact you Monday. I see that you're having family time."
Yeah.
So people will respect when you take a day off, especially if you post it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one of the things that someone told me that always stuck with me, and I think it'll always be part of me, is the saying that goes, if you're not uncomfortable, then you're not growing. So you need to take on sometimes more than you can chew. Because if you're always just taking on enough that you can chew, you're not uncomfortable, therefore you're not growing. So Sarah, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. So, just use it obviously sparingly and where you think it matters the most. But I think it's a good trait to have, someone who is very ambitious, I guess what I would call it.
Okay.
Good.
I will do that.
Just don't find your self-worth. Don't find your self-worth in what you do.
Yeah.
Just have a confidence in who you already are, and don't try to overdo it, because to burn out is just the ultimate failure. So you got to stay balanced.
You know what, Brent? I'm thinking of myself like a Mustang. I'm always running. I don't know when to stop. That's my problem. I'm too driven.
Well,
But
how long do you think a Mustang can run being chased by wolves before the wolves overtake it from fatigue?
I'm always running in a pack. So nah, nobody's gonna get me.
Well, God said you just got to take at least one day every 7, and it's called a Sabbath. So there's a big difference between pushing yourself so hard that you get sick and then have to stop. It'll take you 10 times longer to recover than if there's a big difference between taking a sabbatical, which means you say, okay, for 7 days, 30 days, I'm not going to work, as opposed to living in the Sabbath. And God calls us to live in a 7-day rotation of Sabbath rest. So we heard a good sermon yesterday at church. Our pastor spoke on that, the importance of rest. So Bayside Community Church, punch in the date, the sermon, you'll hear a guy named Jordan. Doesn't usually preach, but he preached a good message on that.
I want to make it a goal to take every Friday off, because that's God's day.
There you go.
Friday. Yeah, maybe I'll start this Friday.
Go for it, girl.
Maybe you should take the maybe out of that and just do it.
Yeah.
I'll report back on Monday.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what? One thing I heard I think it was over the weekend or maybe last week, I heard someone say that the moment they stopped seeking validation from other people and from other things, and they only started seeking validation from God, their whole life changed and everything worked a million times better. Because a lot of times we're like seeking for that false validation from others. And that's why we do certain things. So, to almost to an exhaustive state, like you said. And sometimes we don't just take a break to just reset and get right in our mind and take some time to just maybe pray and spend some time with God. And I think that's where a lot of us, sometimes we burn out. I felt I was in that state for a while. And maybe in life, that's why you get thrown into almost like thrown into like a different direction completely, and you don't understand why, but it's part of the plan. So before you're forced, like Brent said, to take that that leave, we should probably give ourselves that mental break and give ourselves some time to have clarity. It'll be much better. From what I've seen.
Agreed.
Yeah, good. All right, guys. So we're up on the hour. I would love if Brent, you could take us out with a prayer today. Would you mind?
I'm gonna share with you a poem that was written by a rocket scientist who came out of brokenness. And every single one of these statements comes directly from scripture, a principle taken from scripture. So let me just close out with these words. I am an awesome spirit being of magnificent worth as a person. I am deeply loved of God, totally pleasing to God, fully accepted by God, and absolutely complete in Christ Jesus. And when my person is reflected by my performance, the reflection is absolutely stunning. I am an original, a one of a kind, a truly awesome someone in Christ Jesus, for he chose me. He's blessed me. At times allows me to go through brokenness, but only to allow me to relate to the brokenness in others so that I can help them through it. God, thank you for who you've declared us to be. In this day, may we have confidence in you. And may you place within us a determination to live out that which you've called us to be, and not worry so much about what we have decided to do. Because you call us human beings, not human doings. So God, we give you this day back, realizing you gave it to us to live. We live it as unto you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. My daughter wants you guys to see her cheerleading picture.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
You got
Lovely.
your daddy's leg.
No, you got my legs. Poor thing.
Thank
She
you for
did.
sharing.
My other daughter has my legs.
Hey, John, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Sorry I was late.
No, you're
God
good.
bless you, buddy.
Happy
Good call,
birthday.
John.
Thank you.
Well, thank you
All
everyone
right.
for being here. I appreciate everyone. My daughter's.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
God
Bye-bye.
bless
Yeah,
guys.
Very
See you
cool.
nice.
next week.
Oh,
Thank you for
very
sharing.
nice. Yeah.
Bye.
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 Okay, take care.
Good day, everyone.